Hello and welcome to The Red Menace. We're a comedy news podcast bringing you the latest and greatest stories from inside. My name's Chris Bolson.
And I'm Alison Hoare.
So, Alison, you're coming to the end, nearly, of your government-mandated self-isolation.
Sure.
And I've just got to, ask, how are you going? How are you holding up? How's the mental health, the physical health? How's the smell?
How's the smell? I'm sure everything's kind of on the down, yeah?
Just
generally bad. No, I mean, the good thing about it is, everyone has those urges to just sit home for 2 weeks and do absolutely nothing and not move and not exercise and not see anybody. But
Yes.
Now's the time to do it without shame. And now's the time to do it and feel like you're doing good for the world, Chris.
Now's the time when you're legally mandated to do it, so you have to feel good about it.
Right,
What
exactly.
are the choices there?
And you sit there and you turn on Netflix and it's 4 a.m. and you're awake at 4 a.m. because you woke up at 1 p.m. and that's your life now. But it's 4 a.m. and you flick on Netflix and you say to yourself, I'm a public health hero. That's what you say to yourself as you turn on Netflix at 4 a.m.
See, my cruel body being what it is, I've been waking up at 6 to 6:30 a.m.
No,
every
Chris,
single day.
that's not how you do quarantine.
Involuntarily, I will say.
Okay.
This is not an alarm-driven
Sure,
system.
sure.
This is Chris's shitty body clock-driven system.
See, the hack that I have for dieting and health on the coronavirus crisis is if you sleep all day, then you only need to eat one meal. So you can control how much you're eating because you slept all day, so you only get one meal.
Some of the potential side effects of this do include death, but, you win some, you lose some.
You win some, you lose some. You win some, you lose some. And look, it does mean that you do sleep for 13 hours a day or something like that. But it's valid life choices in this corona climate.
You know what's fun is that all of the symptoms of corona-imposed self-isolation are the same symptoms as clinical depression. And I just think that's cool and fun.
That's really cool. That's good. That's good, yeah. It's really nice that that's the thing.
I was, I play, the way I've been keeping in touch with my girlfriend, who I'm now not legally allowed to see, is we've been playing Destiny together a lot.
Okay, that's good.
And I think my mental health might be flagging because she did note that yesterday I was just swearing and generally grumpy a lot more than I usually am. Not at her, mind you, but at just
at the situation.
At the denizens of the online world I was sharing with her.
I think one side effect of the coronial world is that a lot of online spaces have become very populated very quickly.
Yes.
With a lot of people who don't necessarily understand the etiquette of said public spaces online.
Well, I also think that I've realised that, so I haven't driven in some time, but you're familiar with the concept of road rage.
I'm familiar with the concept of road rage, yes.
When you're inside a car and someone cuts you off, you're like, it's cool if you say, I'm going to come to your house and murder your family with an axe.
I'm going to fuck you up,
yeah,
is what you say. And that's okay, because they cut you off.
And this is the first time in my life that mentality has been applied to the video games.
Sure.
For me, where someone puts a bullet in me and I just loudly shout fuck from my living room, and I worry about what my neighbours think of me, this man living downstairs who shouts fuck every 3 to 5 minutes.
Are you getting shot that often, every 3 to 5 minutes?
Also, I get shot a lot. I'm bad at video games.
Me too. I used to play a shared server with my sister on Minecraft, and let me tell you, the amount of times I died and she needed to help me find all my objects that were down the bottom of a pit somewhere.
I've been playing Animal Crossing with your sister, and she is the embodiment of chaos. Okay, so a lot of my friends sent me cute little gifts. Like my friend Marianne, who submits stories to the show sometimes, sent me a set of guitar pedals because she knows I'm
cute. Yeah, that's
I'm into
nice.
that muso life.
Right,
Whereas
yeah.
your sister sent me a doll and a note attached that said "Mummy," and that's just the kind of what she brings to the table.
That's what she brings to the table. Yeah. Look, I mean, the greatest achievement that we did on our Minecraft server was we dug a humongous pit that went down to bedrock. And we just kept building the pit and making it bigger and bigger for no reason.
Did it have a name, or was it just the pit?
It's just the pit.
I think that's better, maybe.
And if you're running along and it's dark, you can just very easily fall down the pit. It was huge.
Yeah. I've been hitting my knees on lots of things in my apartment. I feel like being trapped in my apartment has made me worse at navigating it. It's very bizarre. I can hear a lot of our audience members going, wow, they've really blathered on for quite some time. To which I say... Yes,
we have. You've cottoned on to exactly what we're doing here, which is trying to fill time, because the fact is, the news is very coronial at the moment.
I like that as a term, coronial.
Well, I'm trying to coin it, Chris. So then after Corona's finished, we can say in this post-coronial world, that's what I want to happen.
So when, you know how we've got like Zoomers and Millennials and stuff, so in the potential baby boom that's going to happen after the roni gives up, are they going to be called coronials?
Oh, I hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope so. Speaking of baby booms after Corona, that kind of leads into one of my stories if we want to jump into it.
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
If we want to do a story. I'm reading from The Western Advocate, which is a local newspaper. Mm-hmm. By the way, before we actually get into this news story, we should say rest in peace to half of Australia's local newspapers, which have closed their doors for the foreseeable future.
Feel very bad for those people who lost their jobs, and also me, who has to make this podcast.
all of the local newspapers owned by News Corp are now shutting their doors until the end of Corona. So that's really good for us, and good for everyone who lost their jobs, and good for those local towns. But anyway, the Daddy's newspapers are still going strong for now. So I've got a story from...
Thank you, Daddy, for funding journalism in Australia.
By Daddy's News, for those of you who aren't clued in on our weird universe of terms.
Alison, don't explain it. They have to go back and find the episode.
Go back and find the Daddy's News episode and have a listen. Anyway,
I'm pretty sure it's called Daddy's News, so it won't be hard.
Probably is. This is from the Western Advocate. And look, I'm just going to read the story headline. It says, COVID-19, coronavirus, panic buying switches to lubricants and sex toys. And
Alison, I just want to congratulate you, because you have, in one fell swoop, become the only person who's brought any stories to this episode, because that was my story.
Is it your story?
Yes, but please continue. I'm going to provide
you said yours was from Wagga.
Well, it happened in Wagga as well.
Well, maybe it's a different set of sex toys and sex stores.
Maybe.
We'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's well, let's have a look. It says, self-isolation may sound like a punishment, but adult store owner Jeff Oliver said some people are looking at it in a whole different light. Is this your story that you had? Is it sounding familiar, verbatim?
It's not the exact same story, but I think it's the same subject matter.
Well, we'll get into yours and compare and contrast at the end.
That's true. We can see what little journalism has to offer these days. And by little, I don't mean quality, I mean quantity.
Yeah, exactly. Government regulations are getting stricter, and with numbers of coronavirus cases growing, people are preparing to batten down the hatches. In the past few weeks, Flirt adult store owner Mr. Oliver said lube supplies have been drying up across his stores in Bathurst, Dubbo and Orange, with people panic buying during the COVID-19 pandemic. I would like to point out that I do like that touch of saying lube supplies have been drying up.
That is a fun... That's smart. That's clever.
A nice
I like
touch.
that pun.
It's a nice touch. Yeah, it's a good pun. It's subtle.
Not like but it's not aggressively punny. This is maybe the first pun on this show that I will endorse.
I like that because it's funny, it's subtle, but it's not in your face.
Exactly. Which is, just for clarification, that's where lube should not be put.
Lube should not be there, no. We've been selling a lot of hand sanitizer products and lubricant that people are buying in bulk, he said. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that an adult store would be helping to prop up the country. Adults are concerned that if they get locked up, they are not going to be able to get their adult lifestyle products.
I have a few immediate takeaways.
Okay, sure.
Did they say they were buying lube in bulk, or they were buying, like, toys in bulk as well?
It said a lot of hand sanitizer products and lubricant that people are buying in bulk. So a lot of...
Okay. Firstly, love that the adult stores sell hand sanitizer. Genuinely responsible. Good on them. Keep that shit clean.
Good on them, indeed, yeah.
I think they need to start selling lube in the format of oil drums.
Just vats of it.
Just a vat of the good squishy stuff.
For the coronavirus crisis, weathering the storm with a vat of lubricant.
And then when Roni's over, you get to enjoy the fun time of dunking your body into the remainder of the lube, having a lube bath. And you'll only get to do that once, but it'll be a good time.
Once in your life.
Everything once, you know.
Mr. Oliver said that self-isolation is what you make of it. Some people buy books or stream their favourite shows. Others visit his stores or website. Online sales have probably doubled, which probably says a lot about the people who are self-isolating, he said. When you use the term entertainment, there's a whole range. You can buy yourself a PlayStation, or you can go the other way and buy yourself an adult lifestyle product.
What a fun euphemism that is.
They are using the word adult lifestyle product a lot, and I do appreciate that terminology.
Well, I suppose it could mean a variety of things. Like, there are people who are isolated together as well, so maybe they can use some products together if they haven't murdered one another yet. Like, because my instinct is to just be like, we'll just say dildo, but I'm sure he's talking about many other things that are not dildos.
Oh, there's plenty of adult lifestyle products there. In the photo, for example, well, you can have a look at the photo later. I don't want to name everything in this photo. Again, it's a lot. But there are a lot of products available.
I'm going to have to get you to list every item in that photo, please. Just your take on what you believe all of it does.
There's a lot of products in that photo that I believe would be classified as adult lifestyle products. Let's move on.
What a frustratingly vague answer.
That's my politician answer. Mr. Oliver has also bulk ordered toilet paper and sanitizer, and he's giving it away for free to the elderly or those with a disability if they pop into any of his stores in a bid to boost morale.
Well, that's good of him.
Yeah, all the elderly ladies and elderly blokes and elderly non-binary folks coming into the store getting their free sanitizer and toilet paper with their purchase of their preferred adult lifestyle product.
Their vat of lube.
Their vat of lube, exactly. We've got a mass shipment of hand sanitizer coming in next week, he said. Mr. Oliver, who employs 24 people across his 8 stores in New South Wales, and he was keen to do his bit to support regional communities. We're not looking at making a profit. We're just looking at supporting our community, keeping people in jobs and paying our taxes, he said.
That's a lie. But I've got to say, something worries me in this story.
Sure.
I see a potential, a second great societal hazard, which is that they're getting a large shipment of hand sanitizer, which to the naked eye, just as a viscous fluid, looks a lot like lubricant.
I'm guessing it probably does not function the same.
Both of them have very different effects, and if you interchange one in either direction, the result is going to be profoundly bad to you.
You get all the places that have the things of hand sanitizer at the door, so people coming in can put the hand sanitizer in. They just put lube in it, so people are just getting very, very moist hands.
Well, I've got a very good prank idea for when this all runs out at the hospital that I work at.
Sure.
So that's going to be a fun time. If ever I get myself fired, I am going to replace all the hand sanitizer with lube.
Was the story that I presented any different than the one that you had?
Let me see. So the one I have was sent to me by my dad, which was...
Okay, thanks, Dad.
Talking... So this is in the Daily Advertiser.
Sure.
It says, Wagga lube supplies are drying up as panic buyers raid adult stores amid the escalating coronavirus pandemic. So it's more of a... Is this Jeff Oliver, Flirt Adult Store, same guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, then it is the same story.
Just with a different angle. They went ahead and put the lube supplies drying up in the headline, which I think is a bold choice because that was the best line of the entire article and they wasted it on the headline.
I never thought in my wildest dreams that an adult shop would be classified as an essential service. Is it? Okay, I have 2 things to say about this. One,
actually, that quote was not in my story.
No, so I think it was a slightly different... I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's going to be aggressively boring.
Sure.
But I have some thoughts on this. One is that I find it fascinating that, like, adult stores as a business do well in country towns. Like,
As someone who comes from a country town, I also find that fascinating.
yeah, because, like, in Sydney there is many of them.
Sure.
But you very, very rarely see people entering or exiting them. And I get that that's probably in large part because people do it in stealth mode.
Right.
But, which is understandable because we all have our deep shames that we need to keep hidden.
Right, exactly.
But town doesn't work like that. Town, everybody knows what's going on. And I happen to know that the one adult store in Armidale, the only reason I know this is because when I went back there after having not been to Armidale for a couple of years, like 5 years ago, my high school friend, Tim Williamson, very excitedly showed me that they had built an adult store next to the Lincraft.
Well, that's next to the Lincraft, hey?
I hear you
there
saying,
you go.
is this Tim Williamson an extremely horny boy? No, he's not. He's the closest thing to a Christian minister that's, like, unordained that I've ever met. So I think he had, like, an anthropological fascination with this adult store. That
Next
I
to
find
the
delightful.
Lincraft.
Next to the Lincraft, yes.
So when you pop into the Lincraft and get some fabric and knitting supplies, and then you pop into the adult store to get some adult lifestyle products.
Yeah, exactly. Now, which would be worse, do you think? Is the carrying your knitting supplies around in the adult lifestyle store, or carrying some big veiny boy around in the Lincraft? Like, which one of those is the worst look?
I don't know. The knitting supplies in the adult store, what's the implication of that? That would be negative, Chris.
It just seems very unsexy. I realise now saying this that I have a partner who knits quite a lot. But just from, like, an aesthetic perspective, it's not like someone's going to be like, ooh, yeah, look at me getting my knit on. Like, it's just not a thing.
I was watching a weird documentary on YouTube, as I do. And it was talking to, I think it was a Vice one, and it was interviewing a sex store owner. And she was profoundly unsexy. She was like kind of like a nan. But she...
I'm into that.
Yeah, right? Profoundly unsexy adult store owner. But she was very knowledgeable about all the products, and she could give you the best product advice. So...
I would like a really...
I guess in some ways, okay, having this nana makes people feel more comfortable. Because it's just like buying a normal product.
But at the same time, I have some grandparent who can be extremely condescending sometimes, and I like the idea of extending that energy to this adult store nan.
Sure.
So, like, you walk in and you bring your big veiny boy, or what you think is a big veiny boy, to the counter, and she looks at it and she just goes, oh, okay, yeah, that's a choice.
Are you sure you want that one?
Are you sure you want that one? Or no, you bring it to the counter and she looks at you and she just goes, oh, hun.
Oh, hun.
Oh, no. It's like that, is it?
And she won't tell you why, because she wants to make the sale.
Yes, but she wants you to feel bad about the sale.
But the whole time, you're like, what's wrong with what I've chosen? Is this going to be an issue? Like...
I have a theory, which is that adult toys cost more the larger they are. Because he uses more materials. So she's trying to drive you to buy the larger one because she's just like, is that it? To all of them until you're bringing, like, essentially just like a football to stuff inside yourself.
Jesus Christ.
And she's like, see, that's respectable. That's what you need to go with because that sells for more silicon-wise.
Christ on a bicycle.
My other observation was that... this is me. I'm burning time like crazy.
Oh, yeah. I can feel that. I can feel that time burning.
Other observation is that everyone on my Twitter feed has been getting progressively hornier on a day-by-day basis.
Sure.
Which is very alienating to me because I'm on quite strong antidepressants, which means I don't own a libido.
Well, that's basically me all the time. So you can just relate to my permanent feeling.
But it's not even like the already horny people who are becoming hornier. I'm just like seeing a lot of nudes of people I'd never expected to see nudes of. You know?
How long until an Australian parliamentarian uploads nudes onto Twitter out of boredom during the coronavirus crisis?
And everyone's just cool with it.
No one cares. Like, it maybe hits one local newspaper, but it's not really a big story in this crisis.
Old Peter uploads like a scantily clad photo where his buttocks are visible, and everybody's just like, yeah, go Queen, Peter. Go
like, all right,
get that action.
Dutton, okay, sure, you're doing that, right, whatever.
You're like, wow, Dutton, your butt's as shiny as your head. That's
and
really
then later,
impressive.
in the post-coronial world, people will be looking at that and being like, hang on, that's quite strange that happened.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people deleting photos from Twitter in about 9 months' time, I
think. Just delete their entire Twitter thing and start again. Do we want another story? You don't have any more stories.
Yeah,
you're fresh out of
It,
stories.
please? I'm really struggling here, guys. Please send me stories. I can't.
Yeah, send some stories if you've got them. If you find literally anything not related to coronavirus, please send it through.
Doesn't matter if it's funny. We'll make it funny.
We'll make it funny. Look, the good thing that's always pulling through is some of the British newspaper shit rag tabloids. They're always freshly chock full of alien stories, Chris. So that's where I've ended up.
Yes.
I've ended up in the weird section of the Express, which is one of my favourite newspaper sections from a shit rag newspaper. And look, before we actually get into any of the stories, how about I share with you some of the top headlines from today in the weird section of the Express?
I would really love that, please.
So the first story, look, this is corona-related. Coronavirus in the Bible. Bizarre claim COVID-19 is fulfilling Bible prophecy of plague.
I mean, which is the last book of the Bible? The one where the world
Revelations.
I've been getting those vibes. So, like...
I mean, sure, if Jesus is on his way, then hurry up, because I'm getting pretty bored here.
Given that the Bible predicts plagues and world-ending situations fairly constantly, I think this is like a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know?
Right. There's plenty of plagues in the world. The next one. Life on Mars. UFO hunter spots alien lizard on Mars, unlike anything on Earth. Claim.
Counterpoint. They've sent a lot of probes to Mars. Maybe a lizard boy just snuck onto one of them.
Well, maybe. I do like the ending there with claim, though. So it's not like, look, it's not us saying this. This is the claim.
They're like, look, even for us, this one is a stretch. We know our reputation.
Sure.
We know what you think of us.
Absolutely.
But this is where we draw the line here at the Express.
This is a claim. This one's good. This one's another COVID story. Coronavirus in astrology. COVID-19 predictions based on the horoscope. I
like the sounds of that, actually, because
should we get into that one then? There's a lot of stories we can have a look at.
That could be really good, because I want it to be like, you're a Leo, you're going to be sick for a week and a half, and then you're going to infect your mum and your brother-in-law.
Sure, you're looking for more specific things, but I don't think this is going to deliver on that. By the way, the journalist who wrote this article is called Tom Fish, which I do appreciate. Mr. Fish writing this story.
Mr. Fish.
Yeah, hang on.
The name's Fish. Tom Fish.
Tom Fish has written a lot of great stories.
I'm a journalist for the Express.
Coronavirus in astrology. COVID-19 predictions based on the horoscope by Tom Fish. Coronavirus has rapidly become a global phenomenon, with a horoscope expert bizarrely suggesting ways we can harness astrology to fight back. Coronavirus has infected more than 730,000 people globally since November, and the virus shows no signs of stopping. But astrologer Pandit Sarvesh Naragvedik of PowerFortunes.com has suggested ways that astrology can be used in the war against coronavirus. The horoscope expert has outlined specific details to correlate this virus to astrological factors. Coronavirus originated in Wuhan, China. The world at large was aware of it by the end of December 2019. The virus has since spread westwards, correlating the virus to the ringed planet Saturn.
Yep, okay. So it goes west, Saturn.
Well,
all right.
Okay, right, I see.
I work out west, so because I'm working from home now, I guess I'm moving away from Saturn. That's interesting.
You are. That's interesting.
Which is unfortunate, because Saturn's probably my favourite planet of the big boys.
I don't know which planets are good in astrology. Is Saturn a good planet or a bad guy planet?
I know that in terms of visually, as a former astronomy nerd as a child, Saturn's definitely the coolest looking of the planets. It's got those big boy rings.
Well, that's cool. Big boy rings are good. The virus has purportedly migrated from animals, primarily cats and bats, after which some scientists speculate it was transmitted to humans through the consumption of meat. Scrolling past a whole bunch of random Getty images, Mr. Naregvidik believes these factors correspond to the malefic Vedic planet Rahu and Jupiter.
Whoa, okay.
That's a lot of words that I don't understand.
This feels like we're getting down a rabbit hole.
Hang on a second. Right next to this, there's a read more. Prince William tarot reading. What did the card reveal about the Duke?
Oh, I also want to know about that, though. Shit, can you open another tab, Alison? Can we have a story
Chris,
in a story?
I've already right-clicked on that and said open a new tab. This episode is just going to be us navigating through the express.
Yeah, we're really flying by the seat of our pants. I'm really glad that we've now found a new place to get stories from.
We'll just change this podcast to Alison and Chris read the Express.
Look, if it lasts 45 to 55 minutes and is technically a podcast, we've fulfilled our obligations. It's okay.
Right here on this podcast, you are witnessing why I never get anything done. Because right here, halfway through reading a sentence, my eyes glanced over and saw Prince William smiling in front of tarot cards, and I clicked away from what I was doing in a heartbeat to see that. This is my issue.
Witnessing, in a weird way, the other reason I never get anything done, which is that I simply don't do it or prepare. And
We're both showing our weaknesses here. Me, my scatterbrain and lack of attention span, and you, your
sheer unadulterated laziness.
Yeah, exactly. Coronavirus is a formite spreading through respiratory droplets on solid surfaces. Another factor that astrology connected to Saturn?
All right, Saturn and fomites connected. Contagion, your move.
Saturn and respiratory droplets. It makes sense.
Okay, I think we can learn something from this, Alison. I think if you trace rings around a surface with your fingers before you touch it, that will neutralise the fomites.
Absolutely. And Chris, I must say my eyes just glanced over on the right side where there's a lot of stories, and I did see Jesus next to a coronavirus particle. She says,
so is the roni the second coming? It's a big question.
Well, it says coronavirus, why COVID-19 is not the end of the world. The Lord's shown me through 2026. Back to the story.
Okay. That's pretty fucking cool if the Lord is just like, here's the next 5 years.
I'm going to break them
down
and look,
for you.
This is how you know coronavirus isn't going to be the apocalypse, because I've shown you personally up till 2026.
Now, you can't act on any of this. This is just for your peace of mind.
Absolutely. But we can act on these astrology tips. Yes. So I'm going to get more into it because I feel like this is practical for us. Oh, I can't look over at the right side of my screen. I'm going to move the screen so that the right side is hidden so I cannot see any more of those stories.
Okay.
Diagnosis is difficult and symptoms only emerge after a number of days of incubations, also corresponding to Rahu. The initial symptoms are a temperature, dry cough, and breathing difficulties, characteristics relating to both Mars and Mercury. What?
Well, I mean, look, if you drink mercury, I'm sure that will have a similar effect on your body.
And I'm sure if you landed on Mars, you would have breathing difficulties.
Not a lot of air, lots of dust.
True. You're right. You're right.
I've watched The Expanse. I know what happens when you go outside on Mars. It ain't pretty. So I think this is correct.
I've watched The Martian, and he makes some potatoes.
That's a pretty good one too.
Yeah, it's about Mars. Controlling the spread of this disease requires maintaining hygiene and social distancing or physical isolations. Factors, he says, link it to Jupiter and the sun.
All right. So now I've learned that Jupiter and the Sun are the planets of the fucking nerds who stay inside and don't talk to people.
Right.
That's the Virgin planet. Am I right?
Yes, exactly. That's precisely. I'm sorry. I just read a sentence on Chris, and I need to read this for you.
All right.
Although the coronavirus is not a living organism, any entity possessing a name has a zodiac name sign. Because of this, COVID-19 has been identified by the astrologer as relating to the Gemini star sign.
Okay, firstly, coronavirus is a living organism by nature of it being a virus.
Exactly.
Firstly, incorrect, for fuck's sake.
Secondly, COVID-19 is a Gemini. You heard it here first. It's confirmed.
Well, see, I think that bodes ill, because, like, if you were like, it's a Taurus, I'd be like, oh, we are fucked. Like, we can't deal with a virus that stubborn. That's the one thing I know about... So, this may shock you all. I'm not a big astrology guy.
Sure. Personally, I'm not either. And it may come as shock to everyone as well.
But I know many people who are, and they like telling me about my personality and why I am the way I am, taking away my agency and my own self.
Absolutely.
And I know that I am a good, loyal friend who likes stability and struggles to get off their ass. And I've got to say, that is me to a T. So... Maybe astrology's right, is what I'm saying here now. Absolutely.
Look, I'm jumping around here. The story's done. Coronavirus is a Gemini. That's what we need to know.
100%.
I hope those astrology tips helped you if you're out there listening to this and thinking, which star sign, or which planet, does coronavirus most closely resemble? Which we've discovered here is Saturn, I suppose.
Now, Alison, could you please tell me about Prince Willy's tarot cards?
Oh, look, I did click over to that tab, and the first thing that I saw was a related article in the Read More, which says, Boris Johnson, what did the tarot card reveal about the Prime Minister?
Well, I guess we've got our fourth story as well, then.
I do have another story that's not related to this publication.
I'm uninterested in that.
Anything that we had previously is... It's not worth it now.
Save for next week. God knows we're going to need it. This is the episode now.
We're just reading through the Express. Prince William tarot reading. Expert predicts moments of peace amid coronavirus outbreak.
Well, Prince William's going to die. That's what I immediately take away from that.
Moments of peace.
That sounds like a death sentence to me.
It does. Prince William, 37, the Duke of Cambridge, is set to experience moments of peace amid the coronavirus outbreak, according to a tarot expert.
Wait, Prince William's 37?
Right. He looks like he's about 46.
Which I suppose is not that far off, but he looks older than 37, is what I'm saying.
He's got a nice, sufficient bald patch, a generous bald patch on the top of his head.
I hope to God I still have hair at his age. If I don't, I'm doing the Breaking Bad look and losing all of it and just looking scary.
That works. Or you can wear wigs, just full time.
I suppose I could do that, but that seems like a lot of maintenance.
It does. Prince William, born 21st of June 1982, is a Cancer, a water sign represented by the crab.
On Society, am I right? Oh!
Is a Cancer on Society because he is a member of the royal family. That's... Jesus Christ. Getting out our Republican views out there, laying it down quite heavy.
Honestly, I don't even give a fuck about the royal family. I just wanted to make a joke. I'm just desperately trying to make jokes in our comedy podcast.
According to Freya Kovac, who specialises in clairvoyance, tarot and astrology, the Duke of Cambridge will experience moments of peace among the coronavirus crisis, and revealed why the tarot cards have led her to have great faith in our future king. Freya shared Prince William's tarot reading exclusively with express.co.uk. The tarot card expert revealed, in general, when you receive 3 aces in a tarot card reading, you can expect great luck, abundance, and time spent in the good life.
Well, no shit, he's a fucking prince.
He's a prince, right? Yeah. But being that this is the Prince William and he is royalty, I wouldn't expect any less. She's self-aware, at least.
Yeah, that's something.
She's like, well... what do you fucking expect from these cards?
She's like, well, it's on it did what it said on the box. Can I quickly say that because this person shared this information exclusively with express.co.uk, that means that there is a journalist at that place of business that one morning went, wait up, I've got a tarot card guy.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to call up my...
Stephanie Munro has a tarot card guy, which she has been using... Oh, look, Stephanie didn't even do she's done Prince Charles' shocking tarot card reading. That's one of her stories that's recently come out. Prince William tarot card reading.
So she just has a friend who does a lot of tarot card readings.
Right, exactly. God, wouldn't it be great to work for the Express and just get tarot card readings for a bunch of royalty and the Prime Minister for some reason?
My friend Emma sometimes brings tarot cards to parties. She brought one to
Boris Johnson, this one is hers too.
She brought tarot cards to a Skype party that I went to recently. And just like, if I could get like a week's worth of stories and get like my job done just by going to a Skype party and being like, Emma, can you do some readings of like X of Jennifer Lawrence? Like, oh, that'd be the life. All right, I'm done. I was just fantasizing about what it would be like.
Fantasizing about a potential post-coronial future for us as tarot card, I suppose, tarot card correspondents.
As taronialists.
For the newspaper. Post-coronial tarot card correspondents. Look, it's just going in quite big detail about this tarot card reading. But I've also noticed scrolling by...
Well, it's a highly technical art, Alice.
There is. There's another article here. Melania Trump, tarot card reading. Expert reveals difficult months ahead.
Oh, my God.
This journalist, it's the same person, Stephanie Munro. I feel like her beat is just celebrity and politician.
She's on the tarot card beat. What a wild job to have.
How do you get that job as the Express.co.uk's tarot card correspondent?
What an amazing life she must lead. All she must do every morning is just send a name to like a phone number she doesn't have the name of, and just gets a tarot card reading back, and she just publishes it.
Exactly.
What a delightful human being.
Oh God, what a publication, hey? What a publication.
Have we run out of content?
Here we go.
Oh no, there's more.
This is the last headline I'm going to read. Relating to coronavirus from express.co.uk. And then, look, I'm going to go into that last story because it's a nice little one from Australia. Bringing us back to Earth. Coronavirus. Forget Nostradamus. People think Madonna predicted the COVID-19 pandemic.
I don't know how I'm...
What's wrong with this publication?
How are you supposed to react to that? I just don't even know. Like, what do I take away from that? All right, well, if Madonna predicted it, she did a fucking bad job of preparing us, I'll say that much.
Well, I feel like Madonna, if she predicted it, she had a public responsibility to tell us about it quite blatantly.
Madonna should have done more. Hashtag cancel Madonna, because she didn't do enough work about the roni.
Absolutely. It's all Madonna's fault. I'm baffled by this publication. Why does it still exist? I mean, we're reading it. We're clicking it. We're looking at all of the...
Do you ever wonder if, like, at a certain point, you're just the Onion, you know? Like, you're just making shit up. And... Like, at what point do they embrace that and just go with it and become the UK's Onion?
Well, at what point did the Express... I don't know. I don't know the history of the Express, but at what point in the Express's history did they decide to just go straight up weird conspiracy nuts?
I think you've like the watershed moment is when you've got a tarot card correspondent. I think that's exactly. Like, there's no returning from that.
Because this newspaper, by the way, it said it was first launched in 1918. This is an over 100-year-old publication.
I really like the idea that it has been batshit insane since day one. Like, day one, it was like World War One, the ceasefire caused by vampires? Like,
probably.
Archduke Franz Ferdinand, a werewolf maybe? Who knows?
Jesus Christ. I'm on the Wikipedia page for The Express now, and it's like political alignment, Euroscepticism, right-wing populism, conservative. And there's a controversies section, which does have a lot of controversies. There is quite a hefty section on accusations of xenophobia and hate speech.
I could just imagine in like 1920 reading like, shocking, Howard Hughes, a racist paedophile. Like I can just see it all, you know?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And it's got like for Winston Churchill, it's got his what is it? The tarot card reading for him.
Alison, can you imagine an old-timey newsreader reading out clickbait content?
Okay, wait. So this is the headline. Coronavirus, forget Nostradamus. People think Madonna predicted the COVID-19
Coronavirus,
pandemic.
forget Nostradamus. People think Madonna predicted the roni. Like... what is it? Read all about it. Forget Nostradamus. People think Madonna predicted the COVID-19 pandemic. New quiz. Which Riverdale tertiary character are you? I really like this character that I've come up with. It's a fun voice to do.
Jesus Christ.
It sounds much more dynamic than my normal voice.
Can I just say there's a really good picture here that they've included. Jesus Christ. It is the coronavirus with Madonna in front of it and Madonna wearing a gas mask also in front of it. Why are people saying Madonna predicted coronavirus in 2019?
I am curious.
I am curious too. I'm just going to quickly read. Do we want to go to my last story, or do we want to read this story?
Let's do this one, Madonna. Let's hear about what the sultry singer's been predicting.
Let's hear about that. Yeah. The novel coronavirus
like a virus. Am I right?
Jesus Christ. Has infected more than 315,000 people since it appeared unannounced last November.
No, the Roni should have put out a press release, Alison. It's only polite.
It's like the coronavirus is knocking on the door and like, you're not wearing pants because you weren't expecting visitors.
The coronavirus texts you up, and then you're like, I'm not. And then the coronavirus is like, oh, I am outside, though.
I'm already outside.
Probably should have thought this through, huh? Don't touch anything.
Phrasing. Since it appeared unannounced last November, the virus's sudden appearance in China and its rapid spread across the globe has led many to speculate about its origin. Many have claimed the coronavirus was predicted by the 16th century mystic Nostradamus. Others have claimed self-titled psychic Sylvia Browne knew of the coronavirus in 2008. But the conspiracies have now been taken to a whole new level, with people claiming coronavirus was predicted by the Like a Virgin singer, Madonna. Scores of people have commented under a YouTube video of Madonna's performance of the song Future at the 2019 Eurovision Song Contest in Israel. This is some of the comments that are on that video that have been selected by The Express. This is evil. And people dancing around and clapping? Disgusting. She is telling you not everyone is going to make it to the future. Coronavirus. ... Can't believe what she just did. A blatant satanic ritual in front of everyone. And the words OMG. The only right thing she did was wake up. And we need to wake up to what these sick bastards are doing to us.
I mean, Madonna has always been a controversial figure. I'll say that much.
Sure.
Be it intentionally or otherwise. And if this is the 21st century version of like upsetting the status quo, I'm here for it.
This is a good one. Her singing, not everyone is coming to the future, not everyone is learning from the past, while pointing her finger at the audience while wearing a crown, Corona in Greek is crown. While the dancers around her are wearing gas masks and massive fires and burnt buildings are shown on the screen behind her. Just hits differently during a COVID-19 pandemic, after massive fires in Australia and the Amazon rainforest.
The music
My inner
video
conspiracy theorist is shook.
The music video they're projecting is a live stream of Saturn. Roni is a Gemini, everybody.
Absolutely. The last comment, this one is just, it's quite simple. This one's from Eldi Bakari. She is part of the plan. 161 likes, 0 thumbs down.
That's such an ominous... What plan?
Oh, God. So that's all. Madonna predicted coronavirus. Coronavirus is a Gemini. Prince William had a tarot card reading. And let me just finish off with this last piece of content, since we are... I've been presenting a lot of content this episode.
You could say you've presented all of the content, Alison.
I could say that, and that would be
correct.
accurate. That would be correct. But I would like to thank the express.co.uk for being a shit rag, which has a lot of non-coronavirus related things.
Give me 1 second. I just need to set myself a reminder.
Sure.
Hey, Siri, next Friday, remind me to actually look up some stories this time.
Okay, Siri.
She says yes, thank you.
This is just a short story. This is a public service announcement for all of you who are in Roni quarantine and suffering toilet paper shortages.
Okay.
This is I'm reading from 3AW, which is a shitty talk radio station, which has quite a prominent button down the bottom, listener complaints, because I assume they probably get a lot of that.
I think when you press on it, it just makes a fart noise, though. It doesn't actually do anything.
It just takes you through to a blue screen of death.
If I was doing that, I would just link it to, like, Pornhub. Anyone who's at work just gets fucked.
Look, there are a lot of things to complain about on this radio station.
I'm going to go to our Red Menace website and I'm going to link one word on the page to Pornhub, and I'm not going to label it as such. And I look forward to the poor person who finds that out.
Oh, dear.
I'm not actually going to do that. I can't be bothered.
Don't do that. The toilet paper shortage has taken plumbers to a strange place. This is by Dee Dee Dunleavy. Dee Dee Dunleavy. I do like her name. It's almost as good as Tom Fish. With panic buyers stripping supermarket shelves...
My name's Tom Fish, and I'm the Express's expert on the Roni.
With panic buyers stripping supermarket shelves of toilet paper for several weeks now, many have resorted to using other things, and it hasn't ended well. The Drain Man's Brendan Dover said he's found some seriously odd things flushed down toilets. Clothing, underpants, flushable wipes, newspaper, and all sorts of strange things.
Well, you would hope
3AW's
flushable
DD.
wipes are down the toilet. I'll say
that's
that
true.
much.
But underpants? At what point of having no toilet paper do you just take off your undies and use them to wipe your bum and then flush them in the toilet?
Go in the undies and then just look down at yourself in shame. Just take them off and flush them away, never to be seen again.
What I was envisioning is the person went to the toilet, as usual. They realise there's no toilet paper, and they're like, well... And they just take off their underwear and wipe their bum.
Well, I mean, look, if it works, it works, but maybe get a plastic bag or something.
Have people heard of water?
Alison, not everyone has a fancy DIY bidet like you do.
Just use a pump bottle. You know those pump water bottles with the pop tops? Put some water in that and just squirt it.
Stick it right between your legs and just shoot water up at that bad boy.
Exactly. Problem solved. And then you're not using your... I think that's preferable to using underwear.
Or, every single time you do the toilet, have a shower.
I did have a shower 3 times the other day.
So did I. I'm trying to conserve...
Out of sheer boredom.
I'm trying to conserve resources, and also I don't have a lot to do, and for some reason sitting at home doing nothing makes me feel real greasy.
The thing with sitting at home doing nothing making you feel very greasy is it's very true. The other thing with that is that at some point of your coronavirus day, you sit there and you're like, what's the next milestone? Oh, in about half an hour I can have a shower. And that's what you've got to look forward to.
I've got to say that this The Ronicast has descended into just like madness far quicker than I expected it to. I thought we'd take at least a month before we got to where we are now.
Week 2 and here we are.
Week 2 is pretty rough already.
Here's what we need to do. This is what we need to do. We need to recollect ourselves. We need to gather some stories, do some research, find some shit that's out there in the world.
This feels like an accusation at one person in particular that, again, would be correct.
I mean, you do all the editing and stuff, so I can't really complain.
There we go. I have nothing to apologise for.
It's not just the person who flushes the wrong thing down the toilet that suffers either. They accumulate both in the drain from the house and also in the reticulation system for the water authorities, and that's where they become a really major issue because it then affects everyone. The drain man's message for Australians who find themselves without toilet paper? Don't flush anything other than the 3 Ps, Mr. Dover said. If it's not on a toilet roll, then don't flush it.
And the 3 Ps, Alison, if you could just clarify for me what those are, please.
Piss, poop, and paper.
Oh, I thought papaya was in there. Shit.
Well, it could be.
I've been doing peaches, papayas, and pears. I might be responsible for this.
Well, it's probably your fault, yeah. You exclusively. And that's all there is to that public service announcement.
Let's finish the podcast. This has been an episode of The Red Menace.
It's been an episode.
Technically. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm deeply sorry, and I will be better next week.
Please, as I said, if you do have any stories which are unrelated to coronavirus or which are related to coronavirus in a way which isn't existentially depressing, then please feel free to send them through.
Yeah, like lube stories. Those are funny.
Lube stories, coronavirus, tarot card readings. That's
Very
okay.
good.
Yeah, we can get into that.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram at RedMenacecast. You can find our sick merch at tpublic.com. You can find us on Facebook at The Red Menace Podcast. What do I usually say at the end here?
Enjoy your quarantine.
Enjoy your quarantine. Stay inside, wash your hands. Don't talk to anyone or hug anyone.
Don't flush your underwear down the toilet.
No,
Simple as that.
Only papayas. Yeah, good luck and good night, you poor bastards.
Farewell for now.